So we are live here with the GTI series. We got 7 cars entered from the back to the front. We'll read out the cars. Mitch switches from the 45 GTR to the 45 Porsche, driving for the moment for DGS. Arisnetta in the 59 machine. Jake bringing back a classic of track loans. I believe that's the first car that ever won here. Dale Ross racing the digital purple Cadillac. In the number 1 Ferrari, we have Lewis. In the Mercedes number 7, it is Mr. Monaco. And Jack Pro PC is our current car in front. This is not the race, this is qualifying. So, let me right. Alright, gonna clear the board. Change all laps, -1. Change all C0. Sorry. Alright, that being said, watch the lights. We're about to turn yellow, go into car view goes. Unless they don't go, you can pass them. Yellow flag's out. Twin is joined, so I'm going to teleport Twin. He could join the field. We just started pacing for qualifying. So, let's not go too fast. Again, this is a yellow flag period. We'll go 60 once we are past the hairpin. Yeah, Mr. Monaco is... well, he's taking it from Jack Bro. He's gone faster than him. The hairpin here is very tight. It looks like, actually, Mr. Monaco almost turned too early. Lights are going black. Watch, the lights are going 60 here. Green flag. Testing to see if it works. Okay. Five minutes starting. That leaves us with about 6 laps to work with. Aris now gets out there. First lap is generally a warm-up anyways. We're going to be clearing the board now. And it looks like Lewis side by side with Mr. Monaco down into the hairpin. Aris now in a mix-up. Oh, Air's going around. And Aris has a strategy here to drift it. I don't think it works anymore really that well at all. It certainly doesn't work there. Jack Pro PC now off to lead a lap. We have 8 entries. And that's a great fashion for the GTI feature, definitely. Today at Supercar Grand Prix. It's been a long time since we've had a field like this in the GTI races. I believe the last 2 runnings, one of them failed, and the one before that was a disappointment with only 2 cars, and I think the one before that also struggled. But this is the oldest SNGP feature. It's been running since the first time. So, by far, one of the more significant features to win. There's a chain that goes all the way back to 2020, and the first time we ever ran it when it was just Outlaw carts and GTI, and we thought that was a big deal. And every year since then, it's been expanding. Anyways, as we check the board, the top time is Jack Pro PC at 47.097. We close into the halfway point of qualifying. Mr. Monaco with a purple sector 1, although not too far behind is Jack Pro PC. If we could get a better sector 2, that could change things around. Jack Pro PC past the hairpin. Let's check those sector times. Sector 2 is looking pretty darn good. How about for Mr. Monaco? It's not valid. It's going to be a throwaway lap for Mr. Monaco. Jack Pro PC just going to have to focus on getting a clean lap here. He might be able to extend his time. Crossing the start-finish line, it's not going to be any faster. We are now halfway done with qualifying. So I'm gonna drink myself some water. Sector 1 really fast there for Jack Pro. So this lap here could be significant. This could be his opportunity to take pole. Jack Pro now going down the hairpin. Now Jack Pro's had a chain of bad luck, especially on this turn. He had a controller disconnection 1 year back. I believe it was 22 when it happened. His car went over the barrier and got lodged on the guardrail. Now he's going to be racing for Monarch, which is his Touge team apparently. And that is a team that he will be representing from here on. That is Polar Bear also with him. Now Jack Pro PC, that lap, he's got a 47.069. That is a very nice time to have as a pole lap. It's going to be pretty hard to beat a time at that caliber, although it's a 47.069. We might be able to see a 46, as there's a minute and a half left. Jack Pro PC into the chicane. That's the chicane. A purple sector 2, a good looking sector 1. Not as good as the last lap, but sector 2 was rapid. Makes his way across the start finish line, and it's not gonna work. 47.123, so he's got the consistency definitely checked out. Twin is the second fastest car today. Currently, I believe Twin is in a Ferrari 488 as Nikolaus has joined the field. Might be inserting in a car. We'll see. I hope he doesn't make it ridiculous. I can't really say no to the guy that owns the game, can I? Jack Pro PC now through the chicane, exiting it, and down into the front straight. Jack Pro PC around the final turn, the white flag in the air for everyone behind him. So we have one lap to go for our leader and everyone else as they cross the line. I think Jack has made a huge gap. The only close person to him is Mr. Monaco, although I think he's out of range too. Del Rosso in the Cadillac. Look at that. A 47.632. That's an unexpected turn of events. It's pushing that Cadillac to its limits. Jack Pro PC down the back straight one last time here in this session. Checkers will be coming out for you as you make your way over to the front straight. So looks like it's just going to be another good lap here. Checkers are out for Jack Pro PC. Alright, up next is Mr. Monaco. Let's see if anything changes on the board. Nothing for Mr. Monaco. His tires are worn already. Del Ross will not be going faster, though that Sector 3 is an improvement. Arisnetta is on the last sector. Lewis will stay in 6th place. He was holding up pretty well, though. Next down the line, that is T7 Jake. The rest of the field makes their way through. As a reminder, that is it for qualifying. Let's see if there's any other cars going down the racetrack. I believe we're good. Yes, we are. All right, we're gonna post the stream up onto the Discord. I want to make sure that I post the results for the GTI race though, just in case. Yes, I did. We'll be playing the anthem of whoever wins the feature. Alright, can you guys line up at the pit lane exit in the following order? Jack Pro PC, Dale Ross in 2nd place, Twin Turbo V sits in 3rd, Mr. Monaco in 4th place, 5th place is going to be Arisnetta. Make sure Dale didn't do anything silly. Okay. It's hard to believe that. So 5th place Arisnetta, 6th place is going to be Mucus, 7th place is going to be Mitch, and 8th place is going to be T7 Jake. Again, Jake. You don't? Rev your engine. You're revving your engine? Can I hear it? I can hear it. I hear it. You gotta hop out the... Yeah, I hear it. Might be a client-side issue. Twin might be pointing it off. So 300 to win on the line, but it might not be enough for Twin to care. So, again, our positions are Jack Pro PC, Dale Ross, second place, third place would be Twin. If Twin is pulling off, it's going to be Mr. Monaco. Then it'll be Arsnetta. Alright. And in a Supra, we got Nikolauds. Late entry to the show. Alright. If you want to fly, I can fly you, or if you want to commentate, you can join me in commentary. If you want. He's left the game, so I'm going to assume not. So, we'll clear those cars. I'm going to clear the unoccupied cars and pits. A reminder that your car must be completely within your pit box in order to do a successful pit. You must be in first gear red line before the yellow, or before the orange and black line. If you are in second gear, you will have to do a drive-through penalty. Do I need to speak up? We're not doing a grid start. We're doing rolling. Yeah. You guys will be fine. Because I don't have the optimized cars. They don't cause lag issues though. At least now that they're cleared out, we'll be fine. Okay. These are the cars we've been running the entire season. So I believe we'll be fine. I'm going to make sure that we have the amount of laps we need to do. We'll be doing 2 pace laps. Okay. Because this is the GTI series and they don't do grid starts. The 0 to 60 times are a bit unequal in the cars. So we're waiting on, actually if everyone could hop out of their cars real quickly. We're not going to do the anthem, we're just going to go straight into the event. We just want to make sure that everyone that's in their car is ready. So if you are ready, please head to your car. Stay in your car, Dale. So if you are ready to go, then go to your car. If you're not, then just keep on standing outside. It's going to be a 45 lap race. Cut limit for today is going to be 25 cuts. I still don't think any of you guys are really going to be in threat. Have a penalty or anything like that. So we're still waiting on Eris and Nico. We still have 8 cars entered in today. 1 DNF. Or DNS, that is twin turbo V6. Look guys, can you not fit... Look, we've ran completely fine for the last couple of races. I know that there might be some lag issues, but can you not try to hold up the race, Eris and Nico? We're already here in the grid. There's no time to fix an issue. I know that's what Eris is trying to do. I'm going to give us 120 seconds, Eris. If you don't get going by 120 seconds, you're going to have to merge to the back of the field. No, it's because you've done this a bunch of times where you try to fit something when I'm like, okay, we're already here. So, that's why. I don't know what you're up to. But you're fine, it's just I didn't realize what was going on there, and your comments are kind of leading me to think you're trying to fit something, so. That being said, watch the lights go in the car if it goes. Press X to refuel your cars. Remember that this pit limiter speed is first gear red line. You're going to be in first gear before that orange and black line. When it's your time to pit, you'll be first gear through the pits, and then on the exit, watch the lights. No, just press X. It'll go up. It'll go up automatically. Just don't wait for it. It'll go up automatically after 5 seconds. But once you press it, you're good. You have to go back in your car though. Watch the lights. We are yellow. Do not do that. That'd be silly, but no. Let's try not to go too quick here, Jack Pro. Just at the very fastest, go 80 on on the straights or something. All right, we need fourth place to catch up there. Through here, you should be going 60. Through this entire section, you should only be going about 60. Jack Pro, this is a very technical section. You should be going like coasting on the straight though. So this is the warm-up lap to make sure that all the systems are in check. We're going to coast down to 60 once we're at the bottom. Please try not to press your brakes. Just use your engine braking. So again, our order is Jack Pro PC in first place. Second place is Del Ross. Third place is Mr. Monaco. Aris Netta is in fourth. Fifth place is Lewis. Taking over the one machine as Mika's 124. Lights are going black. Mitch is going to be in the 45 DGS Porsche, racing temporarily in a DGS car for the day. Also in DGS cars, T7 Jake, representing the times of the old when we used to run a bluish black color for DGS, back when team colors were a theme. Nico Altza will be in the Toyota, I believe, GT, I think maybe Super GT car. I'm not really sure where it's from, but yeah, we'll be resetting all cuts. And we'll be going green once we're on the front stretch. So let's prepare ourselves. Here's, we're gonna go 60 here. We're gonna go 60, Jack. We're gonna hold 60. Make sure not to pass a car of you until you cross the start-finish line, unless there's an exception. And that does not allow you to blow by 2 people, to clarify also. Alright, here we are making our way up to the final turn. And the green flag is out here at Track Loans. Lewis, or Porsche with a jump. Mitch back off 1 spot. Clear. Alright, up the hill we go. Jack Pro PC off to a lead. Del Ross in second place. Mr. Monaco is going to be in third. The green flag out here. It's GT7. It says Nicolauts. So here we are making our way into the hairpin in this feature. We're going to change Mr. Monaco's laps to 0. We are on the first lap of the race. The board is being cleared. So whatever the fastest lap is in the race is going to happen here today. Mr. Monaco passes for the second place spot. Del Ross still in the podium position, but he's got 2 very hungry drivers right behind him. Aris Netta and the red Ferrari being driven by Lewis side by side. Now Del Ross side by side. He'll look up to get second again, but he's going to go over those sausage curbs, strips away a little bit of his speed. Still looking at it, takes the inside from Mr. Monaco out of the carousel. A familiar turn to the oval racer. Mr. Monaco clipping the wall into the turn. Now through the hairpin they go. Going to clip the hairpin wall on this exit. That is going to allow Del Ross a bit of an advantage here. Will stay second place. A battle going on between Aris Netta and Lewis for the fifth place spot. As they make the way through the front straight. Aris is going to get the better hand of it on the exit. And what's that going up behind? T7 Jake. He started all the way in the back. Now he's battling with Nicolauts. As they make the way through Faux Rouge. That smoke is from tires burning out up the hill. As Nikol's making the move on T7 Jake, it's the two crossing over side by side through the carousel. Arisnetta is still side by side with the Ferrari. We'll see what's going on up in the middle of the track too. Del Ross is going to hold his confidence here. Still in second place. We'll look to see what's going on between Jake and Nico. Oh, Nico gets very loose there. A tough exit for him. Here comes Jake. Jake's not going to get him at the line. Alright, so the current battle going on for position is between Nico Alves and Jake, and Nico's gotten a couple of cuts, one per lap. Again, the cuts here are a little bit strict here, so you gotta watch yourself on turn 4. And it looks like a big mistake was made by Lewis there, clipping the barrier to some degree by how it looks, as there was a close moment between Jake and Nico, but Jake gained the better exit. It was a bit of an experimental car for Nico. So far, he's been competitive towards the back part of the field as they battle on for 6th place, but Jake's going to pull it in. Now, is this a stop, or is he retiring? No comment from Jake, so we'll watch. Alright, we're back. And still Del Ross in second place, holding up ahead of Mr. Monaco. Jake is still in the pit, so seemingly out of it. Might have something to do, might be retiring. We don't know yet. He's not fallen a lap down. Or actually, he has fallen one lap down. It's not the end of the world, though. Mr. Monaco looking at the rear bumper of Del Ross as they make their way through the back straight. Dale's still getting a better exit though. But that Mercedes, he's been a threat many times before, and today it might still be the case. Now again, Jack Pro PC leads us off as it looks like that was a sketchy moment for Dale. You can see him hop over the sausage curbs. Probably felt nothing in his POV, but for me it almost looks like if he hit them the wrong way, he might have seen himself going up and over. Now we know the flips on this track do count for a caution, so not a situation any of these drivers want to get into. We saw that on turn 1 when SPMS did that. I believe it was 2022 or 2023 when this happened. Oh, Dale's going to hit the wall. That allows Mr. Monaco to pass for position. And Mr. Monaco is going to go all the way off there. Probably gains a cut out of the deal. Again, the cut limit is going to be 25. So you might want to be careful. I don't think it's going to be... I don't think it's easy to get too many cuts here. Unless you really screw around maybe the carousel or turn 4. Those seem to be the big trouble turns. Good exits from both second and third place drivers as they make their way down the hill. Arisnetta has moved all the way up to 4th place out of consistency, and she's been running a pretty good race for herself. She's just shy of the podium, but still running for what is most of it a pretty solid feature. And of course, we're glad to see these races going as well as they do. Now, something unspoken of is the fact that Mitch is currently running in the 5th place spot. Nikolaj has made some sort of mistake off screen by the looks of it. We'll probably figure out what happened in the interview if he sticks around for it. I believe he was all the way up there, but I must have made some mistake. We know that there's a couple big corners to do that, and it looks like his car is really starting to suffer tire wear. Not really optimized for tire wear balance in any way. So he nearly loses on the exit of the carousel. You might be realizing he might have made a mistake choosing this car. We'll see. But anyways, Del Ross is in third place for the moment. With still a very good shot of a podium. Will be coming home if he finishes the way he is. With a bronze zombie hand. Of course, you want to get the golden one, but nothing wrong with getting in one of the trophies on one of these legendary events. Especially this one, of course, being the 5th running of it. I mean, that's just hard to believe. There's now making her way down the front stretch, and she's going to cross with about a 15-second gap from Jack Crow. And we'll go back up front. I think the closest, I'm pretty sure the closest battle was, it's probably still between, yeah, it's between Dale and Mr. Monaco. So the field kind of spread out for now, and it looks like Lewis has started to fall one lap down, so starting to suffer the results of something. Meanwhile, we are closing in on the quarter point of this race, as T7 Jake has rejoined the track. He's 2 laps down. He's not out of the fight, and if there's 2 cautions, he'll be back up in the front lap. That's a tough situation for T7 Jake. However, it is always great to see the MP412 out on the track like it is today. And also, knowing track loans, you really don't know what could happen. It could be caution free, like RFTC was, or it could be a hellfest. And Mr. Monaco is about to close in to pass Lewis here. As Lewis might have made a pit stop or something. We did see them make a pretty big mistake earlier that led to them falling a good gap back. As here's Mr. Monaco now making the move up through Faux Rouge. Over the crest it goes, and oh, Lewis going around. His tires might be worn. You generally want to let off there to go over the crest. The car gets a little bit weighted. Oh, but Ayers going around. Ayers goes around through the club sector, but she'll hold her 4th place spot. Muka's going around again. His tires probably are worn out from the amount of spinning. At this point, it might just be worth just getting new tires. Still's not in last. There's still Jake. So, it's not quite the end of the world for Lewis. And if there is a caution, he'll be back up in the lead lap to get back to where he was. Yeah, that car looks all out of shape, so must have spun out somewhere with a lot of grass or something, just killed his tires. Meanwhile, looks like Jake has fallen 3 laps down. This is probably just going to be one of those races where Jake is there out to survive in a lot of likelihood in comparison to the very legendary Lancia, or not Lancia, the very legendary Dacia that raced at the Nürburgring 24. It looks like he's just in it to finish it. And honestly, I like the balls to the walls approach that Jake is going with right now. Now, there's currently nothing really for Dale to worry about. Ayers is pretty far behind, just needs to hold consistent. And a reminder that 25 cut limit is for the first penalty, which will be a 5-second penalty. It's like a time is a 10-second, and then after that, if you somehow get 75 cuts, you're parked. Now, it does not condone intentionally cutting the final turn. That'll be an automatic penalty, so don't be that guy. Now Jack Pro's in the pits currently, so he's already started his pit cycle. That's going to take him out of the lead, I believe. And there's Del Ross passing him. As Jack Pro PC now is back onto the track, rejoining in 3rd place. So the first pitter, he might be going for a 2-stop, which is not a familiar strategy on track loans, although it could be the one he's going for today. That does give the lead to Mr. Monaco, as he puts Lewis, I believe, 2 laps down. Or he might be putting him a lap down. I think he's putting him a lap down. As there is Lewis to the pit lane. So Lewis is going to get out of his car. You can hop right back in. The sooner you get in, the better. And you just press X, and then you go. Actually, the Ferrari is probably the fastest car here, but up to you. Well, that's a drive-through penalty. Shifting there for so we're gonna have Lewis do a drive-through penalty here. Again, first gear throughout the pit lane. You're not supposed to shift. Remember that one if you do enter the Super Indy race, because it's the same rules. You just gotta be in first gear. Serve it by the end of the race, otherwise you'll be taking home a 20-second time penalty. Which actually 20 seconds is worse than not doing a drive-through. So, just figure out a point that you're doing it. You can do it now. And if you have a caution, then you'll be good. So just first gear red line. You just don't stop, just go through the pits. So there's another car SC in the pit lane. That is, I believe that was Ayres. So Ayres gets out of the pits. And drive-through penalty is going to hurt his efforts, but he's clear out into the track. His penalty's been served. So if there is any caution that could allow him to get a lap back, Jake might be on the same lap as him, though. There's another car, Nicolas, who does perform a pit stop. He has an accelerated speed, so it looks like Nico won't be out for any Ricky Bobby style finishes. That's okay. So Nico now performing his pit exit. He's good. So pit cycles are now starting to happen. And it looks like Jack Pro PC has passed Dale Ross. I don't think Dale has done his pit stop yet. And I don't think Mr. Monaco has. And every lap that they stay out is another lap that Jack Pro PC gets to close in and extend his gap after they do their pit stops. So maybe the under... It was like the... I don't know what the term is, but I was going to say underbuy, but it's just getting it early is definitely the way to go, it seems, for Jack Pro, as he's already about to get his lead back. I know, probably gain a couple seconds when they had to do their pits. And there's JD Wagon, the guy that owns RFTC. He was out there to host the race today. That was a pretty good one. Guillermo had a very dominant run. He's not here today. He needs to rest. And of course, being Australian, it's a bit of a weird time for him to run. So, we have a full understanding for why. Jack Pro PC closing in on Mr. Monaco for the lead. Mr. Monaco might, at this point, be considering either pitting or just staying with his second place spot, because there's a good chance he might be able to keep it if he goes for a one-stop pit. These other guys are probably going to expect to do another pit stop. And his hope might be to even out the... one thing these cars like to do is, at a certain point, they wear down enough to where they set pretty comparable lap times. You might be a little bit slower, but the guys that pitted 10 laps, 15 laps ago, they're also wearing down. That could be something to think of. Though we are closing in on the halfway point. That's going to be on lap 22, lap 23. in this pretty short 45 lap feature. Jack Crow PC's Vipers closing in rapidly on Mr. Monaco. Again, Jack Crow PC is a big threat. He wants that 300 Robux more than anyone else. Meanwhile, you can see Lewis getting past. I think Lewis might fall down to the same lap that Jake's on. There's a good possibility that... so there's Mitch falling a lap down too. As the leader makes her move on Mitch. That doesn't take him out of the fight yet. Again, if there's any caution, he'll be put back up to the lead lap. And it looks like the guys ahead of him are also going to start falling down the order. Of course, this is a very short track, so with these relatively long distance races, laps wind down, the cars start to get past. Now, Jack Crow's made the move for the lead. Got 4 cars here in this midst. But Mr. Monaco has lost the lead. Jack Crow PC is going to lead us off. This might be the time for Mr. Monaco to go for a pit stop. We are over halfway done with the race. And he does go for the pits. We're going to watch him. Mr. Monaco now goes to the pits. So does the Porsche. And so does Dale. And that's a very slow pit stop for Mr. Monaco. He gets passed by the Porsche. So a couple of pits in order. Mr. Monaco and Dale Ross. I don't think theirs is going to be a threat. She's right behind them, but they have fresher tires. There's another car going down the pit road. I think that is T7 Jake. So Mr. Monaco has Dale Ross right on his tail. Again, that was a very slow pit stop for him, and he lost a lot of the gap he had built up. I believe Jack Crow is just gonna more than likely dominate this race as long as it stays the way that it's going. Now, we saw that again with Giram, and we'll probably be seeing that again today. A little scrub to the wall for Mr. Monaco. As Dell is going to have to find its way through the Porsche, being driven by Mitch. Let's see. Dell's going to clear them through the carousel. But Mitch is going to get it back on the exit. Now down... Oh, there's slapping the bear. There's Nico. I don't know if Nico is in range of her or not. That was Mitch. I think Ayers might have lost a spot. I'm not entirely sure. Let's see. No, Mitch is a lap down. Okay. A little tricked out by the way the standings look. It looks like we've gotten ourselves a couple of different groups of cars. Jake has again pulled it in. Or wait, no, he's not. But Jake is 3 laps down, but so is another car that's sharing that lap status. Lewis also losing it once again off the exit of the chicane. It'll get it back going. I don't know if he's... I don't know if he... well, he did do a pit stop. But his car is just looking really loose. Harris goes off the track. I hear Mitch, I think, going into the pits. Offer another tire change. That's not a normal practice to pit that much. But apparently he's not very happy with how his car is driving. That's going to put him down, probably at risk of falling another lap down. There's the leader. The leader's also about to pass Jake. Jake passes, however, Jake is, I believe, a lap down here from Mitch. Oh, but Jake! What happened to Jake? He's good. Big impact for Jake there on the club sector. I almost thought he was up and over for a split second. I was about to be very, very upset. Fortunately, not the worst case scenario, but Jake still has a lot to build up, and he might be able to find himself getting ahead of Mucus Lewis as long as he can hold consistency. He's got a lot to build up, but still got about 20 laps to go, a little bit under. That might be just enough time for Jake to pass a car or two. Even more if there's a caution. Trying to see if there's any battles going on. Nikolau's is about to fall, I believe, 3 laps down here. And it looks like there's this group of cars that have fallen about 3 laps down. Actually, my correction, I believe Nico's gonna fall 2 laps down. Still remains 1, but there's a leader, Jack Pro PC, right behind him. And these races tend to wind down like this when there's not too much going on. As here is Jack Pro PC, takes the inside away. He'll clear him. So even though Jack Pro was not happy with how his car was driving, looks like he's still performing as well as can be. An unstoppable force again, but not the fastest car. Does not have put time. The Mercedes being driven by Mr. Monaco has that title. And 4th place is the last car, I believe, on the lead lap, but she's not too far ahead herself. You can see an entire straightaway separating herself and the leader. So, definitely a possible threat here. Jake is winding those laps down. There's Mitch. Mitch is 2 laps ahead of him. So Jake has been grinding up and slowly closing the gap with a couple of other cars. If they keep on making mistakes, their opportunity is going to come. Now there's 15 to go for our leader, Jack Pro PC. And as for cuts, the only one close to anything is Zaris with 10, although you're good for now. I believe Jake is about to pass Mitch. Not quite in range there, but if Mitch makes any big mistakes, that's definitely going to be the case. Jack Pro PC closing in onto Jake, put him 5 down. And it does happen, the lime-colored Viper off to put another one down, and Lewis is parking it. Just make sure you pull it off in the proper pull-off zone. So Lewis announcing that he is going to park the car. Please do not leave your car on track. Otherwise, we will have a caution and you will not be racing the rest of the weekend. Not a circumstance I think either of us want. So there's Lewis now pulling it off. So that puts us down to 7 cars. And also the correction, Jake is 4 laps. Jake is 4 laps down. Mitch trying to fight Jack Pro where he can. Try not to be put 2 laps down. as the next target for Jake to potentially tick. He has technically passed out of survivorship from Lewis. And there's Mitch getting past. Meanwhile, we got a battle up for second place. Last lap, Del Rosa made the move, but it does not stick, so we're back to where we were beforehand. We're closer. So something has happened here, and we'll be watching as it develops. Most likely a big mistake on the hairpin for Mr. Monaco. So next time by, Jack Pro will get 10 to go. Meanwhile, we'll be watching to see. Might have separated itself. I think Mr. Monaco's trying to lock in, but Jake is going to get loose. Now keep on going. I believe this time by, making the way across the front stretch. Jack Pro PC, you got 10 more laps to go. So, trying to see if there's anything developing. Looks, again, the closest gap is the one for second place between Mr. Monaco and Del Ross. Any of these two make mistakes, and that's going to be significant. Both of them are pretty much at the moment locked into the podium as long as Aries doesn't close those 12 seconds between herself and Dylan. Otherwise, she'll be enjoying a pretty solid top 4 finish. So with not a lot of things to report, we're going to quiet up here and let you guys enjoy the sounds of the cars on the stream. I was going to go into the barrier off into the club sector, so that's going to cut off his opportunity of a second place, I believe, for now, unless Mr. Monaco can equalize, if not do more of a mistake than that. We did see that happen a little bit earlier, but as of now, Del Ross is still locked in for a really solid top 3, but Eris she's going to be probably drifting here, tries to. Almost does a Ross Chastain move there. So we are 2 laps away from 5 to go. So 7 laps left in this race. I think there might be something developing between Mitch and Nico. Nico gets out of the pit lane. That's not the case. Mitch is going slowly through the hairpin, as we'll be watching the rest of the field. So next time by, Jack Pro will see the 5 to go. Again, the cut limit is 25, but there will be an automatic penalty for cutting the final turn. So probably shouldn't do that. believe the last time we had a GTI feature on this track with this many people finishing was more likely than not either 2021 or 2022. It's been a very hot minute since we've seen a field of this size, especially one that lasted this long. Last time we ran, I believe we only had 2 cars for 90% of the race. That was Blue Jet and Eris. And I think it was, as Eris described, probably one of her more empty podiums that she's had as 1 out survival, more so than finishing it. But it's good to see that there's 5 cars left. And Jack Pro PC, he's had a couple hard races here. I think last time he did run pretty well in Patriot Grand Prix, I believe. And I still remember the race he had where he crashed his car here. So it's great to see this one with a great comeback. And I don't even know if he's already done a comeback, but if he has, I think he's going to need to do more than just win this to make up for the crash guy at Patriot Grand Prix that one time. I don't even know who else remembers that one, except for him, me, maybe Eris, Jake. But yeah, that was a big moment. I think he was also leading that one, so it wasn't really a crash out of his skill issue. Again, it was a controller disconnection, which was completely got off his power. I believe he hopefully had a check of that before he started this. But knowing Jack probably did. Might not have. We'll see. But this time by, there's 3 to go for Jack Pro PC. So he's been holding off for a pretty good and dominant performance. It's been challenged by pretty much nobody. And will most likely take that 300 home. As there is still Ross lagging, a big lag spike, but he keeps on going. It might be my internet. So, I don't know. If there's anyone that's at risk of disconnecting, it's probably myself. So you guys are more than likely okay. Now, I must remind you guys, so there's 2 more big features coming up tonight. We got the micros coming up at 5 p.m., which will be for a fantastic 150 Robux to win. And then finally, the Supercar Saturday closer will be the ROX Mods at 7 on the road course. Now, that one's a survival race, 30 laps of hell. We usually do 40 laps, and the GTI race was usually 50. But I think 45 is more than enough here, especially the amount of pit stops we've been seeing. And the cars are slower than they used to be. So, that probably is going to be fair. That also goes for the ROX Mods too. Now, out in Sector 3 into the final turn, we got the white flag for Jack Pro PC. 1 more lap to go. So there's 1 lap here for Jack Pro PC. He's just got to survive it. We've seen some horrific ones go in the final lap. AASC is either North, I believe, as AASC North was what it was called, when Performance Engineer did a flip on the final lap. I'm disconnecting. We're good. We're good. So Jack Pro PC makes his way 1 more time through the chicane. And he's good at all the trouble turns. He just has to make it to the line. Jack Pro PC out of the final turn will win the GTI feature on Supercar Saturday. Now, Nico, keep on going. We're going to watch the rest of the cars come in. And there is Mr. Monaco. And Eris. Where is Dale Ross? Uh-oh. Something happening off screen. Mr. Monaco coming home in 2nd place. Here's the battle for 3rd, the podium. Out of the final turn, something went wrong. Eris will come home in 3rd in the podium. Dale Ross, just short, has choked off a podium. We'll figure out what happened. If there's any footage, that'd be fantastic. But we'll see. Nico Out's now making it in. And there is Jake to come home. We get our top 3. And stick around, we'll get interviews with everyone. Jackro PC does in fact come home with the fastest car. And this time we'll be playing the American anthem up on the podium. That's easy to find. So, let me jump our drivers. So first place we got Jackro PC. Let's get this podium photo. So again, our winner is Jackro PC. Give it up to him. A completely dominant performance. Mr. Monaco comes home in second. Eric's coming home in third after that late race incident. If we could have any footage on it, that'd be greatly appreciated. I don't know if anyone does. I'm gonna write the race results down while I can. Getting the results down. All right. If you guys could get your bottles, let's get this one ready. All right, that'll work. Alright, well, it's time to spray bottles at each other. Jackro PC coming home with the win and 300 Robux. A very strong way to finish your GTI race. Now we got 2 more coming up tonight. Jackro PC, what do you guys say about today's race? I found a whole new line. So Jackro probably going to use chat one, so that's okay. I think Ari found it too, but too late. It's really hard to execute. Anyways, GG. That was great to hear, Jackro PC. So we got a couple other big races coming up. I think you got what it takes to win them. Anyways, I'm out for the rest. Oh, okay. That's fair enough, Jack Pro PC. Great race today. Is there anything else you want to say? See ya. Okay. Alright, we're gonna move on to second place. Mr. Monaco. Now, you had a pretty solid race there. Didn't quite have what it took to win, but not bad at all. Still coming home with a second place trophy. A silver zombie hand. A piece of history of track loans. Again, we haven't seen a GTI race like this in SNGP in quite some time, so it's great to see the level of competition we had today. You held off from Del Ross for quite a bit there. You had a couple of shots back at you. You had a pretty rough pit stop too, and a couple of mistakes made. So what happened in today's race?
Well, it was just blunders. I'm quite disappointed, to be honest, even with the good position, because I know if I didn't pit for fuel and just took tires, maybe even pit a little bit later, I could have had the shot of winning. But obviously, I can't change what happened. It was just in the heat of the moment, I thought, maybe I'll run out of fuel, so I took it for safety.
That's fair enough. It did look like at one point, you might have clipped the wall or something, and Del Ross did pass you for a brief little bit. What happened there?
I just went wide on the one of the last corners, and I clipped the grass, and I went sideways.
Ah, okay.
I saved it, but I lost a lot of time.
Well, it seems like you were still more consistent today than Dale Ross was. He wasn't here for interviews. So you'll still take home a second place. Very solid performance. So up next... Well, actually, do you want to say anything else?
Nope.
Alright. Thank you there, Mr. Monaco. Good job on P2. I'll send you that trophy. I think I might already have them. I forgot. But getting a nice podium, Arisnetta. Stuck it out late in the race. What was going on?
I was kind of in the middle of nowhere, drowning in tire hell until I wasn't anymore. I pulled a really bad tire conservation line. That wasn't tire conservation at all. It was just like kind of bad. For the first stint, I was initially gonna pull a 18-lap 2-stop, but then I decided to pull a 1-stop instead, because I noticed that my tire management was a lot better than it was in my first stint after I went out. So I kind of like saw it out, saw the rest of the race distance out, all remaining 22 laps, I think it was? No, not 22. But however many it was, 20-something. I saw all of those to the end. It didn't stop. Honestly, the right call, because if I had gone in, I would have lost even more gap, because I'm pretty sure everyone else ran a 1-stop. I think at least, save for like 1 or 2 people. I had a tiny battle with Nico, but his car is tuned to a completely different set of regulations, so there was no way in hell it was going to compete. Also, it's like a whole entirely different chassis, and it's not tuned as fast as these, since it's attempting to be like more appropriately fast and handle better. I noticed he suffered a lot on the uphill. On the transitions, he kind of like wheel spin and lost a shit ton of time. I tried making the thing work. It worked sometimes, but the thing is, since the car slides out so much more now, just like naturally because it can, it really chews up tires. So I had to kind of like adapt a less insane version of it for my second stint. That only included like a tiny little piece of slip, merely for rotating better instead of trying to just directly, bluntly point my car in the straight. It worked fine. It worked brilliant. I wasn't expecting to actually get the podium until on turn 1 of lap 45. Dale kind of just like went wide on turn 1 and slapped the outside wall. I immediately locked in really hard. I had a really shitty hairpin. No, it was the club sector. I had a really shitty club sector. Not the club sector, the chicane. But like I messed up a little bit through the lap, so the gap that I built from his mistake started diminishing ever so slightly, but I managed to see it through to the end. Wish it could have been a longer battle, like I wish we had gotten together earlier, but I think what happened was that after his incident, his pace just dropped completely, because I was projecting that I would only be able to catch him in like 20 laps from now if our pace were consistent. Because I was setting like constantly 20 seconds from Jack, and he was staying 30, sorry, and he was staying constantly like 22 or so. He was on very close to Mr. Monaco consistently, and I was kind of consistently in their pace, but like 12 seconds back. Yeah, around there. If it wasn't for the incidents on his end, I wouldn't have finished where I did. So I mean, you gotta think what you have to think. The RNG was in my favor or something. Enjoyed it.
Alright, so we got a couple other races coming up tonight. The Formula Micros and the ROX Mods. You got your Screaming V8 also ready, I believe, and Jake's got his LFA powered ROX Mod. But how do you think you've learned anything on the track today that might help later on tonight?
I don't know, just to kind of like either stay consistent or get better form. Really, that's like about it.
Alright. That's fair enough, Ferris.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Is there anything else you want to say before we wrap the stream up?
No, not really. I mean, everyone had a great race. Wish it could have been with more people, but I kind of just like, I'm still not hooked with how to get the 650 to go fast from the start. So I kind of go and I try to profit off of people's well, what's the word? Of other people's misfortune. And that's kind of how I go, because the 650, at least with what I've learned from driving it for this season, it is not the kind of car that you can go from lap 1 and get into a stable lead in a couple of laps. You cannot hold a lead with that car. You kind of have to just like sit back, wait until you can somehow find a line that actually works with it, and then just try to stay consistent and wait for someone to mess up.
Alright.
That's kind of the way it is.
Alright, well, thank you there, Ayers. Enjoy the podium, and best of luck with the coming races now. We're going to talk to Dale Ross here. Again, a fantastic race for the most part, a little bit of a slip up at the end. We're wondering what happened to you today, Dale Ross.
I got the most crazy text of my life, which was Harrison Burton just outqualified Kyle Larson. And when Harris was talking about how I smacked the turn 1 wall, that's because I was, the entire last 10 laps, I was fiddling on my phone to try to get to the NASCAR app to fact check this. Harrison Burton qualified freaking 6th. I don't know what's going on. The whole thing shook up. But I was reading that, and I was not paying attention at all to what I was doing. And then I finally decided, all right, I should lock in because Harris is closing. Then I locked in. And Jake smacked the hairpin wall right in front of me. And I was just laughing from then on. I didn't even care because I was Harrison Burton freaking qualified 6th. I don't know. This is amazing.
It did seem like, other than that, it seemed like you were doing pretty good throughout the day. So probably one of your better races.
I don't know. I wasn't really.
Fair enough.
I could be real with you. I wasn't really paying attention for most of that race. I just kind of got in a groove. I stayed in a groove for a while. Then I got that text, and I was just. I did not care about
It was
the race
over.
anymore.
It was over.
Harrison
All right.
Burton qualified 6th at Martinsville, bro. In the Woods Brothers car. That's not. That's wild.
Yep. All right. So, is there anything else you want to say, Dale, before we move on?
Will Harrison Burton win tomorrow's race, guys?
Fuck
When
no,
is it going to happen? He will. You just got to put faith in him.
No.
He's going to lock in.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up the GTI feature. We'll be starting practice at 4 p.m. in about 2 hours, 40 minutes, roughly. So about two and a half hours from now, we'll see you guys in GTI practice, but the actual race is going to be in 3 hours. So see you guys there. It's been a pretty fun race to run. I know it could have been a little bit more competitive, but you know, that's not everything. I'm glad that it was free of controversy. Glad everyone was pretty good with how today went. Sorry for Lewis, but hopefully you'll get another shot in the next 2 races coming up. So that being said, show up for the micros if you want. That's going to be 150 to win, but don't miss out on tonight's ROX Mod feature. We're going to be out on the real course. That is the usual survival race, so the distance is shortened because we expect there to probably be a couple DNFs. If there's anywhere where flips will happen, it'll be in the ROX Mods. So that being said, see you guys there. Thank you guys for watching, but we'll be back in a few hours.